Look outside. Is the world more peaceful since the revolution? It is good to restore the natural order of things. Don't you agree?
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Kessel Run Weekly. My name is Danny.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Cheyenne.
I'm Anna.
Welcome, full team! Our powers combined. No.
Okay. I didn't watch that show, but
I'm so glad to have you all back. Our full team is here, and it's very exciting because we're here talking The Mandalorian. So we fell off doing our episode reviews during the crazy holidays. However, we're going to talk about the entire season, if that's okay with you guys. So we're going to go ahead and do a full season 1 review of The Mandalorian because holy crap, it was exciting. It was awesome. It was all the things. It was, yes. And I can't wait to dive into it. First, before we dive into it though, Anna, we haven't seen you in a while. How have you been?
I'm good, working a lot. It's been crazy, but I'm glad to be here talking about Mandalorian, which has been amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How's your podcast going?
Good. Starting it up again little by little. But yeah, we need to do an episode all together there too.
Absolutely. That would be like the Avengers assembling. Yeah. Right there you go.
That would be
all the rebel cells came together. No.
Yeah.
So not to put you on the spot, Anna, or anything, but did you want to plug your podcast?
Yes. So my podcast is called Roundtable Pod Racers, and you can find it anywhere you listen to your podcast, I believe. So
yeah,
yes.
It's exciting. They're doing a lot of cool stuff and everything. I got a random lisp out of nowhere. Merciless.
So cool, go check it out.
They're awesome. Check them out, guys. Roundtable Pod Racers. I'm sorry, that was going to be more professional, but it didn't come out that way.
No, you should keep it.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool, guys. So I think we go ahead and dive into Mandalorian. Anna, since you're back and we're so excited to have you here, did you want to start us off?
Well, so we're starting chapter 1 or chapter 4?
All of it. Anything that excited you? Anything about the first season?
To be honest, I love this show, like, from beginning to end. It was action-packed, but at the same time, it took its time to, like, kind of dig deep into all the characters and what we needed to know, and also leave us in suspense and kind of, like, make us not know much, but at the same time, just, like, throwing things out there, if that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely.
So I loved it all. I think Pedro Pascal did such an amazing job, even though we don't see his face. But do we? So I loved it so much. I don't think I hated any episode. I love all the Easter eggs. I love the fact that Filoni came out in the show. So yeah, that's my quick overview.
Sweet. Cheyenne?
a good one. I really love the. Okay, let me preface with I've never watched a classic Western ever in my. Not even like a little. And that's not to say they're bad or anything. I just never happened to have done that. I really love this style of show. The style immediately grabbed me, and probably partially because it was Star Wars, like that was the main reason. But I was very impressed with how I could tell it was a Western, even though I've never seen one, you know? And I would say overall, I'm extremely, extremely satisfied. I know a lot of the times, like, there have been like reviews or thoughts of how the episodes go up and down. And while that might be true, I think as a culmination of a first season, it was perfect. And rarely do I call anything perfect in an actual sense. You know? It's amazing. And I do also love the Easter eggs. That's a big factor for me. Especially just like explaining it to friends and like telling the average person about Star Wars in general. Like I like always telling them like this thing called back to this thing. And that's probably one of my favorite parts.
Oh, definitely. Did you feel like at any point there was too much fan service?
No, not really. Because there's enough new stuff involved that the fan service like happens and then it's gone. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, it was the same way for me. I think it kind of made it to where it more established the universe rather than going, hey, here's this thing that you all love. Bye.
Yeah.
Kind of things like that.
Or, hey, this is a brand new thing. You better love it or leave it. Kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kristen.
Yeah, it was coming. I mean, overall, show-wise, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Favorite parts, I guess, out of it would be Baby Yoda, for sure.
Oh, of course.
Best thing out of it. I don't know. I feel like there was never a dull moment in the show. Yeah, there were some slower episodes, but I felt like they had their own little, like, quirks to them that made them really still interesting and intriguing. And one of the things that I like is definitely our Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, because, you know, thinking about it, for him to be wearing a helmet pretty much the whole season, like, it wasn't hard to know, like, where he was emotionally, though, throughout the show, even though you couldn't even see his face. I feel like that had to be a really hard thing, not only for him as an actor, but for the writers and directors, too, to make sure that they're, you know, orchestrating all the scenes perfectly, along with music, too, to make sure that, you know, they're telling this story with emotion. So, overall, though, it was a very great show, and I'm looking forward to season 2.
Absolutely. Which, and just while I'm thinking about it, obviously, guys, spoilers, we're going to be talked about.
Sure.
I thought it was really funny when they did finally reveal his face, and it was like, oh, he looks like Pedro Pascal. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene.
That was an interesting scene. I love that. For me, overall, I really, really enjoyed it as well. I thought it was everything a Star Wars show should be. I was very kind of apprehensive about a live-action Star Wars. Because, I mean, obviously, all of us were like, oh, man, Star Wars TV show. And because we've been there with Clone Wars, with Rebels, and all that, and then and Resistance now. But hearing that it's live action's kind of like, you know, it could go really wrong really easily, as we've seen with other Star Wars movies and things like that. Some people aren't going to love it. Some people will. It seems to me that, for the most part, the show's been kind of universally accepted, which is impressive, to be honest. And I personally really enjoyed it. I loved all of the action sequences. I loved the callbacks to kind of the old Westerns and everything. When it would get super cheesy and kind of corny and everything. It was awesome. It gave you something new every single time. I love that Filoni finally got his moment to just show his face on screen of, hey guys, I'm an X-Wing fighter. And it was funny too, because he doesn't seem like he would ever be the type to fly an X-Wing. It was so funny. But at the same time, it was like, I see you. Because in all honesty, I would put myself in all of my Star Wars things too if I were a Star Wars director or writer.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Alien.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you know that character right there, that background character doesn't matter? Yeah, I'm going to be that one. That
Exactly.
one. I'm that one too. I'm also this one. I'm going to be these 5.
This dog over here that's not actually a dog.
You're right. Plot twist, it's me. But I really loved it. And in all honesty, especially the final episode, I was losing my mind, yelling at the screen. And because I don't feel like Star Wars has really, or any kind of story, has really gotten me that excited as of late, other than Jedi Fallen Order, when I was playing it, the new video game. That story was really exciting, but usually in Star Wars, it's more of like a, oh, no, really? Oh, man, kind of stuff like that. Kristen makes fun of me because
So real.
in Solo, the first time when the opening thing came up where it was like, it's a lawless time, I gasped because I was like, oh, this is how they're doing it. This is the new little.
He literally like
she makes fun of me all the time now.
Like, and I was like, what? So when we went and saw the new movie together, I grabbed his arm and I go, as the opening credits started, and he just looked at me like, today, lady.
I would have to say that this just a random thing on the last episode. My roommate, who's a like new coming Star Wars fan, / casual about it, watching the last episode, didn't hit her as hard as it hits us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's no idea what the Darksaber is. She's literally like Googling it because she's like, what? Huh?
Oh, I have so many questions.
I know, and that's what I was gonna say. Because when you're mentioning that the show felt like it was universally loved, actually, I've seen that people have liked The Mandalorian more than Rise of Skywalker. So I've noticed that with like a lot of things that I've read in the past 2 weeks, I think. But I also love the fact that this show, even though it's a show like the movies that can grab so many other fans that are not so invested like we are in the animation, the books, etc. They love it, but I also feel like we get an extra bonus, and I love that like attention to detail, and that's how you see so much of Filoni's work in this show to give us like the Darksaber, Death Watch, and those things that you're like, oh my god, because I was screaming, and I'm guessing you guys too. And my husband is like, well, I'm so glad that you have like make me watch the Clone Wars arcs lately. And I'm like, look at them, not knowing obviously that Darksaber was going to come out. But so it's also cool to see that so many people have reached out to me and saying like, can you just tell me which episodes to watch from the Clone Wars? Or like, I want to understand way more. Like, how come I didn't get the whole last scene in the last episode? So I was like, yeah, nice. Even though some people were the same people that are making fun of me, like, why you love so much animation? And I'm like, this is right. There's so much more to it.
Right.
So I love that this show kept that balance of like, for the fans that are crazy like us, that we love watching everything, and also for the ones that not necessarily know everything, but still get to enjoy it.
Right. It was still
a positive way on the movies for some reason.
I could just see your husband sitting next to you during that final episode too, just like, what's happening?
Yeah, no, and he told me, he's like, the way you watch the Mandalorian episode is so different from me, even though I made him watch a lot of stuff of the Clone Wars. But like, I probably watched Clone Wars from all the seasons probably like 7 times. So like, you know, we don't miss those details as much as other people. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So Kristen, what was your favorite moment of Mandalorian?
In the whole season?
The whole season.
That's not fair.
I feel like I can answer for all of us on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
I would say Darksaber.
No.
Even though I love Baby Yoda, but seeing the Darksaber was like, oh my god, it was so many emotions. But I mean, if we want to talk about like the beginning of the show started in a high note, and that's why a lot of people ended up criticizing some of the episodes in the middle, because it went a little bit slow. But it was also like trying to show you the story behind everything.
Establishing it, yeah.
So what did you guys think? Because for me, that client was always very mysterious, and like, I want to know more information. Like, do you guys think, like, I know there's a lot of people, and we talked about it before, that really like, what kind of the empire is he, or like, you know, yeah, I want to know your thoughts on that.
Well, you and I thought that he was a fake Imperial.
Yeah.
That they were all fake. Which, in all honesty, I'm not 100% sold that he was ever really Imperial, to be honest. But, because, I mean, Gideon was quick to gun him down. He was like, oh, you think it's sleeping? Check again. Oh, I'm not going to give you a chance. She's like, and done.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Like, I get more of the crime boss vibe from him than I do Imperial. I could, like, I mean, put him in General Hux's uniform, and he absolutely could pass for Imperial, but I just don't think he fits it. you know.
What do you think?
I don't know. I didn't have a lot of thoughts on him. Really and truly. I know, we talked about it a little bit, and we talked about how we thought, that the troopers were not really stormtroopers in the beginning and all. So, but I mean, other than that, I just thought he was shady, but I didn't really think anything else of him. I was kind of more focused on the Mandalorian and the story with him and Baby Yoda. So,
Baby Yoda steals the show.
Oh, Baby Yoda absolutely stole the show. In all honesty, I kind of feel like Baby Yoda was what kind of propelled the show forward. And it's funny because I think about those rumors where it was like, oh, the Boba Fett standalone, the Yoda standalone, the Jabba the Hutt standalone, and stuff like that. And we're kind of not really getting that, but at the same time, we're getting the background story for a Mandalorian, not Boba Fett, and we're getting the story for a Baby Yoda, not Yoda. but I like that we're getting to see as much lore as we're getting through all of this. Especially getting to see what the world looks like post Empire as well. Because I mean, and I think one of my favorite lines that the client says is the world more peaceful with the Empire gone? And so I think that's interesting really to explore, is just to kind of see the lawlessness. We actually get to kind of see something of the change when we get to go to Tatooine and in one of the episodes, which was a huge fan service episode, it was great. Yeah. But we actually got to see the fate of the cantina after Jabba left, which I thought was really funny that now it's ran by a droid. Yeah. All those years trying to keep him out, and then they buy it out from under him.
The poor cantina.
But it's cool because it shows you, like, we see that episode in Tatooine, and then we also see the episode in the in Chapter 4 with, I forgot what planet they are, the Sanctuary, where Pocahontas lives. Pocahontas. another side of it. Like, I love how this show was like, oh, but look at this, and then they had also kind of, hey, I forgot their names. The people that were attacking the village.
But didn't they just call them raiders?
Yeah, but I forgot.
They were some kind of raiders, though. I think they did give them a name. I can't remember what they were, though.
But it's cool to see that they actually ended up taking a walker and, like, using that against it. So you see kind of like the hint of like what the Empire has done and through different eyes. So I always thought that was cool. And to see, and in that episode, looking at the Loth cat, like, I yelled. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is so good. And that's what I love. That attention to detail was so cool.
I want to know that Loth cat story.
But yeah.
That was a really cool moment, especially with the ATST rising up with the red eyes and everything. That was probably the coolest an ATST has ever looked to me. I was just like, it was insane. I like that you mentioned that, though, because kind of like, so not only are we seeing the world post Empire, but we're also seeing how the Empire influenced this world, and in the weapons that they use, in the way that they organize, in the things that they choose to be a part of and everything. I don't know, just something about that just really excites me, I guess. I love seeing that kind of stuff, the cause and effect of everything. Side note, though, with the Sanctuary episode, Pocahontas, the quick love interest, by the way. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was something in the bone meal or what, but he considered staying. Yeah, he almost let her take off the helmet.
They were there.
What, Cheyenne?
Do we know how much time passed while they were there?
I would imagine a few days.
It was longer than that.
It was love at first sight.
And that episode also shows us like what the Empire is capable of doing with Cara Dune. Like, I love her character, and like the fact that she, part of the guild, but then like a bounty hunter, but then it's like she doesn't want the war, but you mentioned it's like against ex-Empire, then she's in. So like it's also like that rebellion mentality. I love that they kept that, and they give us some Easter eggs with her, like saying that she was in the Battle of Endor and blah blah blah. So that was, her character was amazing.
Yeah, I love her a lot.
Absolutely. And then the fact that she's from Alderaan, I yelled.
Yeah. And then he looked at me, he said, did she say Alderaan? She said Alderaan? I was like, yes. She said Alderaan. Calm down.
Like, I want a little Forces of Destiny episode of her and Princess Leia.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what I've been like, I want that.
Unreal. What if they knew each other?
They had to have. They had to have.
They have to have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that was really cool.
But, like, do they have to? We don't know.
It's the Force.
Planet was a big planet.
It was a big planet. You're right. But, I mean, she did end up joining the rebellion. So, and not on top, and not only that, but became a rebel shock trooper. So she's first boots on the ground, just hazing everything. So she's got a little anger pent up.
Never met her because she was boots on the ground, and Leia was like, "I gotta go figure this out in the office. Bye." Not that that's a bad thing. Love Leia. Don't anybody put that against me. Also, I thought that was incredible. Just how like casually they loomed over that fact, and they knew that we would all lose our minds.
Oh yeah,
I love that about this show.
Yeah,
the thing happens, and we're all like, "Ah!"
I could just see Filoni sitting there and is like, "Do we have to say where she's from?" Like, yeah, we have to, because the second that you say that planet, they're gonna lose their minds. You see that word right there? That's the trigger. It's like he's coaching Jon Favreau on all this. That dark saber there, it's gonna poke out. They're gonna lose their minds right there.
It's also pretty cool to see. Like, it's Jon Favreau and Filoni, which it's like Filoni talking to Pre Vizsla, and for me, I'm like, I lose my mind to think that, you know, because I've been rewatching Clone Wars, and it's like, oh my god, it's Pre Vizsla, it's like Jon Favreau, and then we have them like trying to continue in a way the timeline and like what happened to a lot of like Mandalore or Death Watch and the Darksaber, and then we see them like together creating the show again. That's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. What did you guys think of Fennec Shan?
I love her for the 2 seconds.
Mulan in space.
Yeah, I want to be her.
Yeah, her outfit was
so cool, right? Oh god, yeah, I liked her a lot. She's obviously one of those like mysteries to be had kind of stories, which I love. Okay, so good comparison. You know how people were, I don't know if you know this, but like people were annoyed that people kept, spoiler alert, fake dying in The Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, I've only rewatched the whole season once. Since like I watched on release nights, and then I've only rewatched it as a whole once. But when I was watching it, I was like, people keep dying, and then they're not dead. What's going on here? And I'm like, she's fake dead. I know it. I know it for sure. There ain't no way she's dead.
What'd you think, Kristen?
I mean, I definitely want to see more of her because I don't feel like we got enough. But overall, she was super cool. And like I said, her outfit was really neat. So just want to see what happens to her in the next season. I'm sure she's going to come back.
You look like you had something to say a second ago. Did you? Did I gloss over something?
It was...
Go ahead.
No, it's backwards, though. It's backtracking. Okay. Well, I was going to say, because we were talking about Filoni and Favreau. And I was just going to remind you, if you remember where we were when we learned that Mandalorian was happening.
At Star Wars Celebration, right? No, before that.
Before that.
I don't know.
We were in Disney World.
We were in Disney World.
We were in Disney World like last February or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So when we moved into our house, and I remember we were about to do like pictures or something, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, Filoni and Favreau are teaming up to do a Star Wars like live action." And that's like all we really knew. Yeah. And we were both so excited about it, and we were like, "Yes!" And now like we have it, and it was just cool thinking about it, like how good it turned out, and you know, like we knew Filoni and Favreau would be really good together though, but now having the actual product, it's like. Aha.
Right? I made this.
Yes. So, I should know if you remembered.
That's cool. Actually, that helped, actually. Because I was actually going to say, I don't know if I've told you guys this story. So, I met Ming-Na Wen at Heroes and Villains, in Atlanta, I think is what it was. We were driving the droids around and everything, and she came out to hug BB-8. So we got video of her freaking out over the droids, talking with my dad. It was funny, too, because my dad, the whole day, he was saying that he was Luke Skywalker, dressed up in a low-budget Jedi costume and everything. And she kept calling him Obi-Wan. And I looked at him, I said, Mulan said you're Obi-Wan. You're Obi-Wan. But what was funny, though, is that the whole time, because we were with my Uncle Kenny as well, the whole time we were like, hey, we need to try to see if we can get you in a Star Wars. We need to get you in Star Wars. This was what, maybe 2-3 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
And you know how these things work as far as actual production and all that kind of stuff. The whole time she was kind of like, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Yeah, let's do it. And the whole time. And then they announced that she's in The Mandalorian. And I was like, did you know? Are you just the queen of playing it off? Because we were trying really hard.
She must have known.
For sure.
That far in advance?
Well,
Yeah.
and it wasn't the only time that day that she was approached about Star Wars. Because during her fan panel that she had on the main stage, somebody said something about her being in Star Wars as well. So maybe she knew.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It absolutely was. She was awesome, by the way. Like she reminded me of a better Zam Wessel.
Yes.
A much better.
I thought the same thing when I saw her.
Yeah.
Well, and talking about that episode, from the best to like not so great or like annoying.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of Toro?
Hate him.
Wanna be
That's harsh. He's a loser.
But I did like that with him. We ended up knowing a little bit more of about the guild, and they used that also to kind of show you like the maturity level of the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, when you're hanging out, like I felt like when I'm hanging out with like little kids, and you're like, oh, stop it, like.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I do like, as much as I dislike the character and how he was trying to be a little knockoff Han Solo, I do like that he was trying to be a knockoff Han Solo. I think that is basically what made his character, because if he had just been a stupid kid in the cantina, it would have just been like, who is this guy? Which I still reacted that way. But with him sitting in the same position that Han was in that booth, I was just like, this is happening. So like I could like feel it and was more intrigued by him by knowing what kind of character we were about to be presented with.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, he was, and I think we said it beforehand. He was the ultimate wannabe. it was the starry-eyed kid who thought he wanted to be a awesome bounty hunter, and here's the Mandalorian, and everything. Like the whole time he's sitting here like, how can I trust you? And it's like you can't. But if we're gonna do this dance, whatever, man. Like you could feel the frustration from the Mandalorian at the time, where he was just like, "Whatever, kid. All right, sure, whatever you say." But I liked it. See, and that was one of the ones that were. It wasn't necessarily my favorite one. At the same time, though, I wasn't disappointed with it than how a lot of people seem to have been, just because of how cheesy and corny it was. In all honesty, I love cheesy. Like, the cheesier the better a lot of times. Right. And in all honesty, it's kind of Star Wars. Star Wars is a bunch of cheese, so...
Yeah, and the little humor. And the thing is that I don't know why I feel like lately the fans, you either love it or hate it. Like, people can't just be content with an episode. Maybe that episode serves its purpose. Like, it's just like that moment where we have at the ending that we don't know what are the steps. And I know there's a lot of theories, including Boba Fett and that one, but it's like, come on, just like be okay with the episode. You don't have to hate it all the time.
You're right. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. See, there's the cheese right there. There it is. But I liked it though, because it kind of felt like a little cheesy Western and everything. And then we got Fennec Shan as well, that I thought was really cool. Who do you guys think was picking her up at the very end?
Moff Gideon.
You think it was Moff Gideon? I think so too.
I do. Because of the cape. Really. That's my big giveaway, was the cape. But I could be wrong. Everybody wears capes. Capes are cool.
Yeah.
There were so many people, and even people that I worked with were like, "It was Boba Fett. That was Boba Fett, wasn't it?" It's like, nah, dude. It's not Boba Fett. And now watch, if it ends up for some weird reason being Boba Fett, all of us are gonna have eggs on our faces. But at the same time,
cape even go to the ground?
Do what now?
Does Boba Fett's cape even go to the ground?
I mean, will he really have a cape after the Sarlacc? So
that's fair too, you know.
Because in the Aftermath books, he lost his armor. Somebody else picked up his armor and everything. So,
yikes!
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that maybe it's that person that stole his armor.
Could
have
be.
been or another Mandalorian.
Mhm.
That's I don't know.
I haven't finished Aftermath. I read the first one and was like,
So, I read the wiki. I couldn't get through it. I'm just being honest.
I'll do that.
The whole third person talking in kind of thing, like I just for some reason, because I tried to read it and I was having trouble with it, and then I was trying to actually read the audiobook too, and I couldn't get behind it. So yeah.
So never mind. I'll ask later.
No, go ahead.
It's about Boba Fett.
Do what now?
It's about Boba Fett.
Let's hear it.
So, like, in that, does he survive, or is it only about his armor? Like, what does it say?
You don't really ever find out. So a Mandalorian's armor is found next to a Sarlacc pit. Someone else takes it, and I think Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, he becomes a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
So he kind of becomes vigilante bounty hunter, going around Tatooine, whatnot, Mos Eisley. And yeah, so I can't remember his name. I know it starts with a C.
That's what I was trying to remember, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they never confirmed or denied that Boba Fett was alive or not. If his armor was by the side, maybe it was burped up. I don't know. Who knows how a Sarlacc works? But so yeah,
Weird. Interesting.
And it's funny how we go from that episode in this one, Tatooine, to a completely different episode with Chapter 6.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Because the episode was like 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you see Bill Murray, and you're like, "What? What's going on?"
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really funny because I didn't know that was Bill Burr for a second. Because I haven't really followed him as a comedian or anything. But everybody at work the next day was telling Bill Burr was in Star Wars. I can't believe he was in Star Wars. It was like, yeah. Okay.
I was the same way. My friends were really excited because they follow him as a comedian. I was just like, I know that guy.
Well, and it's little tethers like that bring in those new fans because it's somebody that they know, that they love, that they've laughed with, and all that kind of stuff. And it's cool. The formula for Mandalorian overall of just how they're able to bring in people who have pretty much never seen Star Wars to the diehard fans like us and everything. It's astounding. It's genius, to be honest.
Yeah. The guy, and I'm so bad with name. The guy that kind of puts the whole plan together with the beard.
Yes,
he's from Sons of Anarchy.
I thought I recognized his face.
I was like, oh, cool. And then the Twi'lek is the girl from Harry Potter
and Game of Thrones.
And Game of Thrones. So, what did you guys think about seeing that different Twi'lek?
I loved it. My roommate was uncomfortable. I really liked seeing the difference, but I'll tell you why, because I really liked seeing how different Hera and her father were, and how different Hera, her father, and what's-his-face and what's-her-face, her father's friends. Go something. I almost said Goku, and I know that's not right. They're gonna rage, but
family Syndulla.
Yeah, I like all of them were different in a way, and I really liked how she did make me uncomfortable. Her and her brother made me uncomfortable, but in the best Star Wars way. I was like, why is she so weird? Why is she cat in a Leku costume? Like, you know.
Like, what?
Yeah, but I liked it.
See, her brother, I don't know if you guys ever watched the older Star Trek or anything. Like, it was Deep Space Nine or something like that. He reminded me of a Ferengi. I'm probably the only one that's gonna. Yeah, okay. But anyways, whoever's listening to this may have seen Star Trek back then.
Somebody listening is like, yeah, Danny.
He's like, I know that. I get that reference. But they made me uncomfortable back then. Was the point that I was going to make too? Is that literally they're these aliens that have giant ears, and literally it's like butts for heads. That's the only way I can explain it. And that's what he reminded me of, with the giant forehead and everything. I was just kind of like, this is uncomfortable. You should cover that.
Yeah. It's weird though. It's like, I feel like that is exactly what we see in like Cham's head is huge, but in animation, it doesn't look crazy.
It doesn't look shiny in your face and uncomfortable. And yeah, it was cool seeing the different Twi'leks though, I thought. What did you think of the sister? I can't even remember her name at the moment.
She freaked me out. She's always like, and everything. And it was like, stop. Please stop.
I really hate that they have her and the Mandalorian have a past.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That made me uncomfortable. I was like,
just a little bit.
Simultaneously, I do and do not want to know how that came about. It's like, what is your taste in women, sir? Like, what is this?
Yeah, no. It was, I think because we're so used to seeing Hera, even though we saw the other part of the family, it's just like, this is strange. But we get those are a bunch of cool cameos in that episode. And Matt Lanter is there. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool.
I forgot about that entirely.
I heard his voice and I'm like, you needed to change your voice a little bit because I keep thinking Anakin.
Right. Close your eyes and listen to that scene. It's Anakin. That's all it is.
But that was pretty cool. And it was, I loved, and whatever droids, and I can't remember their names, the droids that come out in that specific episode.
The guards on the ship?
Yeah. I don't know, and I want to go back because I haven't really watched that episode, but they have rebel symbols in the back.
They do. Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need to understand more. Like, that's cool that we'd never see like the droids with that symbol, and they're like, it looked like if Sabine would have sprayed her symbol in there. When I saw it, I was like thinking that all the time.
Absolutely. I love that became the symbol of the New Republic. But I mean, history goes to the victors. So I did think it was interesting when we were watching that episode, how going all the way back to the prequels, so the droids start out the bad guys and the clones were for the Republic. Now the droids are for the Republic, and they're not necessarily clones, but the brainwashed kids are now the evil people. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, full circle here. I guess it proves that it doesn't matter what army you have.
True. No, I thought it was cool.
Absolutely. I really liked the moment where the Mandalorian went all like stealthy on him and everything too. And obviously it gives you the connotation that he kills them, but he doesn't, which is even cooler, that he was just able to wrangle them up, basically.
Yeah.
But I thought that, especially the part where it was the flashing red light behind Ben Burr, is like, it would flash, nothing was there. It'd flash, then he's behind him. And then it'd flash again, and he's gone. And it's like, what's happening?
I know. This was probably, like, super close to, like, being, like, I don't know, like, horror slashy kind of. To me, it was really cool.
Jason's behind you!
I know. This is probably one of my top episodes. I liked it a lot.
I also really love that he did not kill them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time his, like, what's the right word? His character, not his character, like, in the character that he's playing, but, like, the character about him as a person. You know what I mean? Every time that is brought to the forefront, and then it's like, people expect him to kill them. Or people expect him to not care about Baby Yoda. Or people expect him to abandon the sanctuary. And he does the exact opposite. And I'm like, yes! He's a good bad guy. Bad half guy.
Good bad half guy.
And that's the same episode where Baby Yoda is playing hide and seek.
Yes.
The droid.
With Zero. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Which is the droid as AP5, right?
I think so.
It's the same droid as the bug bounty hunter.
Forlom. No, not Forlom. Yeah, Forlom.
Yeah.
Because Zuckuss is the other one, and then they had their name switched and all that. Yeah. Forlom. It's the same as that one. Because I think it's a variation of AP5, though. Because if you look, the only difference is the mouth area. It's not as Vader-like. Yeah.
Yeah. Because AP5's head looks like the Crystal Skull.
Oh, she spoke of it.
That's the first Indiana Jones movie I ever saw. Don't at me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I had never seen any of them all the way through. I'd seen bits and pieces of everything, but I'd never seen any of them all the way through. I don't even know where I saw that one, if it was in theaters or like at my house one day. But like, I was a big Shia LaBeouf fan.
And that makes more sense now.
And I saw it, and I didn't really care if it was good or bad. It was just like another fun movie that I went and saw. To this day, I have seen all of the Indiana Jones now, so I get it now.
Kristen recently saw all of them, so yeah.
Yes.
Say, I introduced her to Star Wars. I introduced her to Indiana Jones. She drools over Harrison Ford. You know, the whole normal process.
I found out today. Well, not today. Yesterday, I was watching Secret Life of Pets 2. Harrison Ford voices a dog.
Really?
I never thought that in my life that would ever happen. And I tweeted about it. I was like, I just want to imagine every single day what ways that conversation went.
Right. I was just thinking, like, the agent contacts him. Look, Harrison, I got a part for you. It'll pay, but I got a part for you. You're a dog. Now hear me out. You're a cartoon dog.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like somebody made that decision for him.
It was so good. It was fun.
That was a favor for sure.
Absolutely. Sorry, we got off topic.
I like that Deborah Chow and the other guy, which I obviously forgot his name, also do cameos in the X-Wings. The other director.
Oh, yeah. Deborah Chow, Dave Filoni, and Rick Famuyiwa.
Famuyiwa?
It's really hard for me to say his last name.
I love that the three of them ended up.
See, I had never seen his face too, so I didn't even realize that he was one of the directors. I had to look that up.
I think I saw his face on, I think it was the season or the episode 1 premiere that they did, the little panel that they did after that or something like that. He was there.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
The red carpet thing too.
It was either that or in my incessant research before the Mandalorian. So
Something like that.
Yeah, one of the two.
Unbelievable.
And that moves us to chapter 7, which was such a great episode.
Yes.
What even happened in that episode?
And it's simultaneously so sad.
I know.
My boy Quill. No.
Such a good character. Gone too soon.
Gone too soon. I have spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he
did it.
He is such a major part of not only like his role was his influence on Mandalorian and how like quickly it happened, but also like what's the right word? How willing he was to not protect somebody, but teach somebody that he didn't know about. Simply because he knew of the legends of the Mandalorians, and he was like, all right, well, I'm going to help you the best way that I can. And then that same concept was why he reprogrammed IG-11. Because he was like, I'm going to fix this the best way that I can. And
I'm going to help you.
My advantage, but also to the advantage of others. He's so helpful.
I honestly thought he was going to try to lay out Cara Dune, though, at one point. The whole bickering back and forth. We work for the Empire. It's like, all right, high and mighty, chill out.
Yeah.
I honestly wanted to see if he could later. Just bam. Okay, and I have spoken.
Right.
But I thought because that was the thing that threw me with IG-11 literally going out the first episode. I was like, dude's on the poster. Like,
I know.
how does that work?
Yeah.
But I think they did really well, and I thought the whole nurse thing was hilarious, especially to the point where, like, when he does go full ham, he tells Baby Yoda, "I'm sorry you had to see that." It was so great.
Yeah,
it's a good nurse droid.
Well, Will warned all of us as an audience. He was like, "But he will protect," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Sure.
There it is.
I will do that.
But yeah,
But that well, then they go back to the village because they're running away from the troopers. Well, no, this is where they kill the client, right?
This is the one where the client gets killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this episode, because Gideon calls him,
make a deal or something.
Yeah, he's like, I have the baby.
And I thought that was so crazy. They killed him like that. I'm like, wait, I need answers. Who was he for real? Like,
it's another Snoke. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, bye.
I want to know what those creatures were, though, when they like camped that night.
Oh my gosh, those
creatures that swooped down. I was like,
that was so Filoni.
Yeah.
It was
so scary.
That was legit scary. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm out.
It reminded me too, the one that was trying to pick up a blurg. It reminded me of the scene in Jurassic World where you have one of the pteranodons trying to pick up a triceratops and fly away with it. He's like, I'm eating good tonight.
So bad for the blurg.
I know.
that was really sad.
Sad already. They're like, what? Oh, so bad.
But then we finally got to see Baby Yoda do something really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Finally got the Force healing.
Which I watched The Rise of Skywalker on Tuesday. And
Lucky.
when I saw the Force healing, I was like, oh my God, like we had heard about it, but like not really seen it. That was cool. I want to say that I wish I would have been like everybody else and seen The Mandalorian with Baby Yoda doing the Force healing first. Because when I watched it on Wednesday, my husband hadn't watched Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were watching Mandalorian, Yoda did that. And I was like, and I can't even react. Because we were watching it the next day together. But I was like, but he immediately, like when we saw Rey doing that, which spoilers, but whatever, he was like, oh my God, like Baby Yoda. And I was like, yes. Yes. So I thought that was brilliant how they showed that episode on Wednesday before the movie release. Because it was like, I wish I would have seen it how it was intended to see.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's how I saw it, was Yoda first. And I was like, that's so cute. I'm so happy he can do that. What a nice guy. And then I saw Rey do it and I was like, ah!
And then you find out that he partially kills himself in order to save someone else. Yeah.
No. But it wasn't the first one, because for me, I thought my immediate thought when I saw Rey doing that was kind of like Obi-Wan in A New Hope doing it to Luke, even though he wasn't really dead for me. Like he could have been dead and force killed Luke. So I'm like, come on, we've seen kind of like that before, not to that extent.
That's interesting, because I saw a meme about that saying, oh yeah, well, new thing in Rise of Skywalker, and then somebody posted a picture of Obi-Wan putting his hand on Luke's forehead, which I always just took as he was trying to see if he was alive, but I guess that doesn't really make sense because that's not where your pulse is.
I always took it like, not necessarily, this is going to sound very literal, not necessarily like electric shock, but like, you're fine. Like bring him back into consciousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, still, that could be considered healing in a way.
Yeah. Because
then it's like stopping whatever's going on in your head that made you get knocked out to bring you back up.
I mean, those gaffy sticks are no jokes.
Yeah. Like a hit on the head. Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me want to rewatch like everything, seeing stuff like that, because then it's like, okay, how many other times has this actually happened and we had no idea that this is what this was, because it was never told that way, you know?
Right.
There are the things that we just kind of accept it as fans as, oh, that's just that. and everything.
Yeah.
But now that they're filling in gaps on stuff like that, I love that so much.
Yeah, especially because it felt natural. Like it felt like it wasn't like a crazy thing. It felt like he knew what he needed to do. Same thing with Rey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I kind of want to know more about. I mean, obviously everyone does more about Baby Yoda himself, to be honest, because I mean, now we're embarking on the journey to find his species and stuff, which is really exciting.
Yes,
I want to know their relationship with the Force, because even though Baby Yoda is 50 years old, developmentally he seems to not have the motor skills that he should if he were a 50-year-old human. You know,
like
even though he's small, it's not like he's just a tiny adult or whatever. He's literally a baby. He's progressing slower than normal. So it makes me wonder what lets him know that he can do these things, you know? So is it just that his species is so in tune with the Force that the Force directs him to do so? Or is he just like, you know what? That looks like it hurts. Oh man, I can heal you. That's cool. It's like, oh, that's new.
Yeah. Yeah, but I kept thinking the same thing as you did, because I was like, we know that Yoda is like very powerful, and like when we see him in the movies or the cartoons, it's very like wizard like you know, he's the one to know it all. But then at the same time, he didn't know how to do the whole Force Ghost until Qui-Gon appeared to him. You know, and that's when he went to train. So I'm like, what's your relationship with the Force, and how do you know how to do certain things but did not know how to do that major thing that ended up for others being just natural?
You know what I wonder? It makes me think about how maybe that's what the Force is doing. Like, you know how like Mortis is, in theory, is the Force, not necessarily the planet, but the people that are on it. The Force decided that those three that are living there are going to represent it in flesh and form. And then on Exegol, it decided that it's going to put negativity on this planet, and people that harness their own negativity. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That harness their negativity are going to feel that power more when they're on that planet. And it's just like, the Force is so unexplainable is not the right word, maybe, but inexplicable. Is that what I'm thinking of? I was like, there's something. I feel like the Force just doesn't really have its own answers, you know? And I feel like maybe that's one of those things is where the Force gave the uncanny ability to just be able to be used and harnessed in this species, because it's such maybe it's more of a natural species. Like, this might not be the best analogy, but like indigenous peoples are more in tune with nature because that is their history. That's where they came from and developed their traditions from.
It's the world they come from. Yeah,
indigenous peoples of any culture. And so maybe that's the thing with Yoda species is their indigenous tradition and culture is the Force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the best analogy to do it, but it's in my brain. That's what's working. It's like the Force was like, let's see what they do with
it. Just like randomly throw it on a planet. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens here.
No, I do feel like Yoda and whatever species they are, they're very, like, either the planet is heavily influenced by the Force, either their village or something, because it kind of reminds me of, like, those creatures that are very into the Force, like a Loth Wolf or, like, Bendu, that, like, they don't need to know it all, and sometimes they don't have the right answers, or, like, they do crazy magical things, but it's all the Force. But at the same time, I love how the Force is still, even though we know so much, it's still so mysterious.
Yeah. It's like it's like people. I mean, really in general, like we all have our own talents and abilities and understanding of the world and our different outlook of the world. And the Force was like, everybody's going to have their own understanding, ability, and outlook of me. These Loth Wolves are in tune with me in this way. And this planet is in tune with my dark side. You know, it's just like it gave everybody a piece of it to see what would happen.
Absolutely. I love how a show called The Mandalorian that has nothing to do with Jedi or the Force or anything like that can actually deepen the lore of the Force itself. Just in talking about this 50-year-old baby. Of all things, it's just so cool to me how they're able to just interweave all of that. And then how to Kawil and Kara and everybody who's seen Baby Yoda do any of these things, it makes it to where it's kind of interesting that they've all heard fables and myths of these kind of acts that can happen. Where Kawil is like, I don't know what it's called, but I've heard of this. I know what this is. And Kara's just like, what the heck? You can't choke me and kill me. I'm just arm wrestling. And things like, which was funny.
That's so aggressive.
Simultaneously, yeah.
But at the same time, for me, I'm like, how come they don't know more?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, how come you don't know about the Jedi is a lot? Like, that's when I'm like, what happened? Was there like a change where like you guys can't talk about the Jedi, or like this is forbidden, or this is frowned upon? Like, what happened that it's like you said, like fables and like stories instead of like really knowing more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like, did they even know that the Jedi use the Force? Did they just have? Because in theory, this is just headcanon that I'm now thinking of literally as we're talking about this. But like, Palpatine wiped them out, and with that, wiped out any of their legends. Like, they are going to be passed down through stories and things written and told. But did that narrative get switched over to the Jedi were Force users, from the Jedi were Force users to the Jedi were bad guys? And not even mentioning the Force, just saying that they were like annoying and intrusive, without even knowing that they were Force users. So now nobody knows or cares to research what the Force is,
Maybe it doesn't even have the ability to. It's possible that the Empire purged all that information.
Yeah.
So,
because I mean, the way that the Empire operated is they changed the narrative as soon as they wiped out the Jedi, or the ones that they could get in the first draft. But basically, they went through and took out that knowledge as well. And so in doing that, as the generations go on, you have the people who directly had contact with the Jedi. Aside from that, it's stories and fables to anyone else because they sound like superheroes. They sound like these sorcerers, as they said in the show. They sound like these just sorcerers and everything. Like, they're not real, but they did exist at one point. There was a Jedi Council. These people were real and everything. So it's interesting kind of looking at all that, and then also, like I said, seeing the perspective of these people post-Empire of, I've heard stories of this, but I didn't think it was real. Like, people moving objects with their mind, people throwing fire back at each other. I mean, come on.
I mean, even when it was prominent, Han didn't believe in it.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. And going back to like knowing so much information, I think this is when they're now trapped in this little room bar looking place. And we see Moff Gideon, which was a beautiful entrance with that TIE fighter, because I love real life. They're cool. But he knows, like, first of all, they know it's him before he even shows up, which I thought, I'm like, who are you? Like, why do they know so much about you? And then Kara mentions that, but he should have been dead. But then now Moff is talking about and mentions the name, and then we have a name for Mando. Dinjarin.
Dinjarin, yeah. Which is interesting.
And I love how in that moment, I think it's that moment, where we see the final, like, completed flashback.
Love that.
That flashback was beautiful because we see Death Watch.
Yes, Death Watch descending from the sky. At first, I only thought it was Clan Vizsla, so I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, cool." But no, apparently, and even Funko confirmed it inadvertently too. Apparently, those are Death Watch Mandos, which is really cool.
Yes,
incredible.
So are we going to see Favreau as the live action Pre Vizsla?
So
because these were not mall troopers.
They were not. They're different. They don't have the mall.
Anything.
This is before than that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This would have had to have been before Maul took over, which means that Pre Vizsla is still in charge.
And so Bo-Katan is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Bo-Katan's
one of them.
Bo-Katan that picked him up, but I don't know because
it looked like a male, the one that picked him up.
That's the thing is I can't ever tell if what I'm seeing is gonna be portrayed the same way from animation because obviously it's not animation.
Mm-hmm.
But like the woman blacksmith, like we can tell that she's a woman. But she's the only other person in armor that's a woman that we've been given
directly introduced to, yeah,
as a woman in in Mandalorian. And I'm like, is it gonna be obvious that they're in armor as a woman in this?
I think so.
You think so? I hope so.
The Night Owls were always very obvious with their armor too. And so, and that's what Bo-Katan was a part of, was the Night Owls. So it was the Death Watch and the Night Owls, and they worked together. And it had kind of like that, the different style helmet too, that was more kind of like owl-like or everything. I mean, Night Owls, obviously. But but yeah, it kind of had like a different visor look to it and everything.
Yeah. And their sigil was different. They didn't have the Death Watch sigil.
Yeah, they didn't have a Death Watch sigil. They just worked with the Death Watch because they believed in what the Death Watch were fighting for. So yeah, which would be really cool to see Katie Sackhoff live action as Bo-Katan. That would be really cool. Yeah. I'd be down with that.
For sure.
That's a lot of questions, like timeline. Where are they doing? Where are they taking him? How come then after he's in a clan where they don't take their helmets off? I've read a lot of questions.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and it sounds like all the clans just kind of, I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to it or anything, but kind of make it up as they go. Because each one of them have different things. And it's possible that his clan that he became a part of is part of maybe like an old Mandalorian way. Something like that.
They're foundlings, so they're like, you need to be like earn your helmet in a different way. I don't know.
Well, maybe even it's like that is their clan, is that they are foundlings. So like Death Watch and other clans are aware that exists, that the foundling clan exists, and that those are their own rules. Does that make sense?
Maybe that's why they don't take off their helmets, is because they aren't actually blooded Mandalorians.
Right. Which leads me to my question, which we all knew was coming, and I'm not the only one asking it. But didn't Jango steal his armor? Steal that Mandalorian armor? Because now with them saying it's not a culture, or it's not something, it's a creed.
Yeah, it's not a race, it's a creed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, that's cool and all. Love that, but...
I don't know that it's canon that he stole his armor, though. I think that was a Legends story.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Because there was a Jango Fett comic, and everything pointed to it as if he saw himself as a Mandalorian. Now, when in the Clone Wars, they said, not that traitor Jango Fett and everything, like they flat out called him a Mandalorian pretender. It may just be because they didn't feel that he fit that creed like he was supposed to. Or maybe they renounced him. I would imagine if you can be a foundling and be called a Mandalorian because you went through the process and took the creed, that you could probably be denounced for, I don't know, selling your DNA for an entire Republic army.
That would be really cool if that was his problem.
That's what got him in the end.
I just like, as soon as they said that, I went, oh no. It's gonna blow up the fan. Like, and it hasn't, surprisingly. It's blown up me in my mind.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this brings us to now the last episode.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
We have so much to talk about in this last episode. So much.
Started with Star Wars making Stormtrooper no aim canon. And
Yes!
I love that scene. I love the Stormtrooper, Scout Troopers. I love the Scout Troopers talking to each other. That whole conversation, even if it was hitting Baby Yoda, I loved it. I thought because it's funny to see like them talking. Like we kind of get always like, I think 2 or 3 seconds glimpse of like Stormtroopers talking to each other, even from A New Hope in the elevator, because that's one of my favorite scenes.
Mhm.
I love that the other Scout Trooper is very curious about what Baby Yoda is. And this guy's like, oh, whatever, and let's just shoot. And they can't shoot.
Shakes the gun and tries to.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
With it. No.
That was
The whole thing was just hilarious and awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the hitting Baby Yoda. I'm not as up in arms as everyone else seems to be for some reason. Because, I mean, it's for one of puppet guys. Calm down. But
not only that, but like we know it's Baby Yoda and it's cute, and like me and Cheyenne are like with our pop sockets here, like Yoda. But they see it as a creature. They see it as like we would see a creature you don't like, because like, you know, so you just like, whatever. Like,
it's the Imperial way. That's how the Imperials acted toward all alien races during the entire time of the Galactic Civil War and the rise of the Empire. All of that's canon. In all honesty, they're a bunch of racists. Like, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It came down to that a single race was the supreme, and that's why you don't see aliens as Imperials. They're all human. And so it makes sense that they would treat this creature that they've never seen before and that they don't understand. I mean, even they were like, well, what is it? I don't know. Some kind of pet maybe, or something like they got a clue. So it makes sense that they would treat him that way. I thought the whole sequence was hilarious, though. Yeah. Just going back and forth, like, well, what if you heard it? You just want to see it.
Maybe it's thirsty.
Maybe it's thirsty.
I was more offended by when he fell, and I was like, ah!
Right.
Like, damn, somebody pick him up.
and if they're rude to humans, like they call rebel scum and stuff, imagine to aliens that they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then Babysitter comes and saves the day.
Babysitter.
Yes.
Amazing. Babysitter droid.
I mean, the alternate title to The Mandalorian should be Adventures in Babysitting. It has to be. The whole thing.
Babysitter's Club?
Babysitter's Club. There you go.
There you go.
Wow.
Better take care of Baby Yoda.
You got the one, Kara, who doesn't do babies. You got IG Nurse Droid. You've got Mandalorian, the reluctant dad.
Dad.
And then Kuil, who seems to be the only one that knows what's going on.
I can't think about the she wasn't a pilot, but the lady on Tatooine.
Oh yeah, the mechanic. Yeah.
Took a liking to him.
Or something.
That was cool. But then he's destroying everything. I love
So cool.
that change of like him, like babysitting, like, but he knows he has to protect, and it's like IG-88 all over again, but IG-7. It's pretty cool.
I love that because you literally, it's almost like he flips a switch, but at the same time, making sure that Baby Yoda is comfortable and he's protected. Like, and I love that when he literally just, and I said at the beginning of the episode, where he's just smashing the scout trooper to death on his own bike, he turns to Baby Yoda, I'm sorry that you had to see that. It's just like, okay.
I mean, even once he goes on his little killing spree and stuff too, he I think he has him like on his little front pocket or something like that.
Yeah.
And like literally turns his whole body like around and goes like, boom, 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 and like shoots everything, but makes sure Baby Yoda's like behind him so he doesn't get hurt. I thought that was the funniest.
Yoda's enjoying it. He's like, okay, it's fine. This is fun. I can't wait to see IG-11 with Baby Yoda bags.
All right.
In cosplay. It'll be incredible.
It's gotta happen.
I can't wait.
But yeah, him taking out that entire town was absolutely insane. Like, he basically cleared the town by himself.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I'm here, guys. What have you done? Oh, you're holed up in a random bar. Okay, that's cool. Thanks. I'll do all the heavy lifting.
Right.
Yeah. Which gives them like a little bit of confidence and like helps them out. And then Kara and Mando and, oh man, I forgot his name. Wow,
Grief.
really?
Grief Karga.
Cargo.
Apollo Creed.
Which I love the fact that when they're trying to open like one of the vents things, he's like taking a drink.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you're both to Galaxy's Edge, but I recently went. His drink looks like exactly the same as what I drank at Oga's Cantina.
Oh, really?
Tricks. So I'm like, is it the same drink? Is it like, because it's blue? So I had that one. It's the Jedi Mind Tricks blue drink. Go check it out.
That's like a big Disney move.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, so I'm like,
I wonder what he's drinking. Well, you can drink that at Galaxy's Edge.
There you go. I love that moment. I was like, yeah, I would have totally done that. Excuse me, guys. Like,
we're probably all gonna die. I'm gonna need a little bit of liquid courage here.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene was so good.
While we're on IG-11, just go ahead and finish out his little moment.
Yes.
That whole part was, I knew it was coming in a way, but like I was, again, one of those things where it's like you expect one thing to happen and then it doesn't happen. The character takes it in a whole other direction. He was like, it's fine, gets in lava river.
Anyway, but before that, when it's like, you know, he kind of takes Mandalorian inside that he's injured, and Mando finally takes off his helmet. I thought that was
like, I'm not human.
I love I love that loophole.
Yeah,
I can't take it off in front of any living thing. I'm not a living thing.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Oh my gosh! But his little like nod to like a joke when he said that you damaged your
central processing
unit.
He's like, you mean my brain? He's like, yes, that was a joke to put you at ease.
That was the last thing I expected.
Programming. Yep. That's his bedside manner.
That was probably my favorite part.
That was awesome.
There was the first time that we saw Mando being a little bit more vulnerable, besides Pocahontas. But yeah, I thought that was so sad. I almost cried because I'm like, no. I mean, obviously we know that he has to continue. The show is about him, but still, it's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen with Baby Yoda? So I thought that was really cool, and the whole scene underground with the armor, blacksmith,
the blacksmith, or armorer, armorer,
yeah. When they find all the armor in the floor from the Mandalorians, that was so sad.
I have a theory.
Yes, Tommy.
I think it's the Duchess.
What?
I think that's why the armor was roasted like that and was busted up. I don't think that they were just gunned down. I think that the Empire brought a version of the Duchess from Rebels in there. Remember the thing in season 4 that roasted the plans?
Oh my god.
You know, when they brought the E-Web, the first thing I thought was the Duchess. And when you were saying the Duchess, I thought Satine for a second. That was so cool.
That's not the armor.
Kill him.
No, the way that the armor looked and the way that it was damaged and everything, and the way it kind of looked kind of roasted, like it had soot and stuff on it.
Left.
I think that was all that was left. I think that they were roasted by it was either, I think it was called a arc pulse cannon or something like that, or it's the actual Duchess, the ATDP that was carrying the arc charge.
I think it might have been the one before, because I know the Duchess kind of disintegrated the armor.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought it left the helmets behind and stuff.
No, because when Sabine grabs the helmet, and that is such a sad moment in Rebels, spoilers. When Sabine grabs the helmet, it like deteriorates.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So no.
So yeah. Well, no, it still could be to a degree though.
That's crazy.
Because there's an arc pulse charge before they meet, or it's either before or after they meet the Duchess actually in combat, and they go where it's being built, and it gets activated and roasts some of them. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sad now.
Which means that these leftover imps, which I love that they call them that, these leftover imps, have come in possession of some things that they're not supposed to have, and which is not good, especially with somebody who has a history with the Mandalorians, being Moff Gideon. If he probably knows, because they even mentioned the Siege of Mandalore, which we're going to see in February, which is awesome. But they mentioned the Siege of Mandalore. It stands to reason he may have had a part in the uprising in Rebels as well on Mandalore, between the Imperial Guard and Clan Vizsla and all that. So yeah.
Watching The Mandalorian is making me think about how much I would love to see the Siege of Mandalore in live action.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine? I mean, I'm very excited to see it just in general, period, at all. But like, wow.
It'd be cool if we see it both ways, like the animation and a flashback, and it's live action.
Oh, that would be insane.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be insane. Well, and on top of that too, so for me, knowing that we're getting into animation, to me that says that it's going to be on a such a grand scale that it's not going to be easy to do in live action, which means that we're getting something that's high and above intense of what we've ever seen on Clone Wars, which is going to be really cool. I'm very excited for it. Because, I mean, in all honesty, it feels like this is kind of the year of the Mandalorian, to be honest. You've got the season 1 that just ended up. It's coming back in the fall. However, Clone Wars Season 7 will be dealing largely with Mandalore. So we're still doing Mandalorian things. And then on top of that, and this is a little off topic, but I saw a rumor today too from Star Wars Newsnet, Project Luminous that they've been teasing, is possibly going to have to do with a series of movies covering an entire era, which a lot of people are theorizing Old Republic.
Yeah.
Which Mandalorian and Jedi War, which has already been referenced numerous times throughout these. So yeah.
And there's a rumor, which I don't know if this is true, and I hope it is, that there's a sequel. Not a sequel. That there's another episode. I can't talk. Season of Rebels.
Yeah.
So,
I would love that so much.
Sabine and Ahsoka kind of looking means more Mandalorians, more Jedi.
Just call it the epilogue. You don't even have to call it Season 5. Just call it the epilogue. The Adventures of Ahsoka and Sabine. I don't care what you call it. Just give it to me, please.
Like how they do the lost missions, the lost episodes of
the lost missions. Yeah,
but do we like way more?
Right.
So again, Sabine. But no, yeah,
that would be so stinking cool.
Talk about cool Mandalorians. The armor kind of went like Santa on everybody, giving gifts. That was awesome because we see the jetpack, which was pretty cool, and her giving him the sigil, which that's so cool because it's like we don't really see sometimes like Mandalorians being so caring, but the fact that she put like the sigil is like of them too was pretty.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool.
I didn't really expect it to be the Mudhorn, but I really appreciated that it was the Mudhorn. I didn't know what I expected outside of that. I really just was like, well, I wonder what it's going to be. I was like, it can't be the Mudhorn because he already said no. And then I was like, oh, it's the Mudhorn. Okay.
I feel like she already had it made and she was like, okay, now I have an excuse to give it to you. You're going to like it. Just get over it. It's the Mudhorn.
She's so mysterious and she stays behind. And her fighting scene with her tools.
Dude.
Incredible.
Goodness. It was amazing. So good.
It pained me watching her bust open the stormtrooper helmets and stuff. Like as soon as she cracked that one across the front of its mouth at that time and it busted, I was like, ooh, ow. Like I was fully ready to see gore of some kind because that looked like it was devastating. And she wasn't fighting to disable either. Like she put one down and then went smash, and then we get the plastic pieces that floated in the air. It was like game over.
That was one of my favorite parts of The Last Jedi too. Is when he fell into that pit and he went.
It's like, yeah.
After her fight scene, we see them go to the River of Styx, right?
The River Styx.
That's when I see that little droid. It's like,
I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Either.
It was like a little bitty astromech, and oh wait, I have arms and legs.
Yeah. They were like, hello, and he was like, oh, what's up? Let me on my full-size legs.
It was unsettling seeing an astromech look like that.
Yeah. Very.
It didn't seem like itself.
Right.
And what's funny is after I saw that episode, like 2 days later, I saw a picture of like a very like muscular man with just an astromech on the top half of his body in like a pose, and I was like, this is very uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. Please no one do this anymore.
But that brings us to a very sad scene.
It is a very sad scene. I already said it, but like IG-11 gets in the lava and is like, it's fine, and walks away.
Yeah.
Basically.
And he even goes to the point where it's almost like it reminded me of Baymax in Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with your care?
Yes.
Tell me that you're satisfied with your care so I
didn't
can
think
go.
about that because he pretty much just tells him, like, he asks him if he's gonna be able to take care of him.
Yeah. Tell me you can take care of the child, and I was just like, I'm not satisfied with my care. I'm not satisfied with my care.
Don't be sad. I'm not sad.
I analyzed your voice. I thought that was great.
That was so cool. And then the stormtroopers waiting for them in the end. And all that fighting scene was amazing. Mando using his jetpack.
Yeah.
That was
The Way of the Rising Phoenix. I thought that was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
that was so
So what does he have left? He just needs like a rangefinder, right?
Yeah. But I don't know if that's something that's added, like, if he needs it. I don't even know if he needs a rangefinder, because, I mean, we see his helmet, and it shows him everything. He's got predator vision.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I haven't even thought about that. I don't know, because I feel like that's always something you see on their helmets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? We'll see. His jetpack is definitely one of my favorite parts. Because I feel like, I mean, and I'm sure we all feel this way, but like full Mandalorian mode was on. It was game on.
Oh, absolutely. I was only sad because I was sad for a moment because I was like, his cape's so cool though.
Yeah, I was like, what's gonna happen to the cape?
Yeah.
Is it gonna catch on fire? Is he gonna get caught in something? What's going on?
No capes.
Yeah, exactly. But I completely forgot about that the moment he latched onto the TIE fighter, and I was like, okay.
Not worried about your cape anymore. You seem to be doing fine.
man. But then, best part, they take down the TIE fighter, and they're all goody-goody, about to leave and on the mission. And when we see Moff Gideon surviving like Kylo from a TIE fighter, which, whatever they make the TIE fighters, is very, like, legit.
Right.
Like, legit. And he's holding the dark saber.
Oh my gosh. I lost it.
Yeah.
I literally turned to Kristen and started yelling, "Where's Bo-Katan? Where's Bo-Katan?"
No, you didn't even say Bo-Katan first. You were talking about somebody
Sabine?
else. No,
No, I don't know.
You said somebody first, and you were like, "Wait, no, Bo-Katan had it last, didn't she?" And I was like, "Yes," and you were like, "Where's Bo-Katan?"
I went through the whole like list of like who had it first, and then I was like, Sabine, Bo-Katan, like, oh, what?
Yeah,
I was literally
didn't have that memorized. I was literally just like, he's not supposed to have that. That was literally my immediate thought. I was like, what? And to be quite honest, I'm a little upset. It was spoiled for me before I saw that.
Oh no!
Yeah, I knew the Darksaber was in it. I just kind of like assumed in a Star Wars fan kind of way. I was like, well, I haven't seen it yet, so Moff Gideon has it. So I knew that it was there, and then I evaluated that he had it. But then when it happened, it was still great. It was still really awesome. But I wanted you all to know that I had it.
man.
It kind of did suck, but I was like, wait.
In real life.
Yeah. Well, because I had been told about Death Watch and about the Darksaber. So then I thought Death Watch had the Darksaber was my original thought. And then I saw Death Watch and I was like, okay, that's not it. So I was like, well, who else has it? Nobody else has it. And then I was like, oh, well, he's got to That's basically what happened in my head. But
Man.
it was still awesome. And then like the best part about that is like, and I told you guys earlier, but my roommate didn't know anything about that. She's like, what does that matter? What does he have? Why is that there? And so then I got to explain all of that to her, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That helped recreate the excitement that I wanted.
We Star Wars fans never shirk at a moment to explain what's happening.
Yeah, I was like, well.
Oh, you've only watched A New Hope. Let me fill you in.
Yeah.
Because like when we stopped watching it, my husband's like, I enjoyed more seeing your reaction than the actual thing that happened, even though they're pretty cool. But like I went crazy. I was like, what? No, but it was pretty cool seeing it in real life. I was like, oh my god,
so cool.
Oh yeah, no. For a second, it was kind of like I liked how it looked unnatural too, because it's always meant to have been an unnatural kind of saber and everything, and even live action, like it didn't look toony or anything. It looked like it didn't belong, and it looked otherworldly, and I thought that was really cool. I did not expect him to have it at all. As soon as that happened, like he's cutting out of it, I'm like, oh, he's just gonna he survived. That's the twist, and then all of a sudden, a little black blade starts poking through. I'm like, what? It's like, you put that down, sir.
Network cable must help me.
Well, and it I felt like in the scene with Newt Gunray in Attack of the Clones, he can't do that. Shoot him or something.
Yeah. That's a big mood.
what a way to end it.
What's that?
What a way to end it.
I know. It's freaking insane. So we got Daddy Mando taking Baby Yoda across the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Space. I don't know. It's taking him across the space to find his rightful home.
Well, and then Kara and Dude Man stayed behind.
Yeah, Grief.
To kind of reset the whole establishment there, I guess.
Oh yeah, the town, the guild, everything. Yeah.
So I wonder if Moff Gideon is going to go after them by himself, or if he's just going to be like, radio call, hey, they're on their way to so and so, get them.
Right.
And then Thrawn appears.
Oh, dude.
Oh God.
I forgot he was still alive.
Yep.
If Thrawn shows up, I will lose my mind. That's it.
So many Thrawn vibes.
Yeah.
Like the way that he was like he loves knowing everything about his opponents. Like when I saw him and he was explaining the whole names and stuff, I was like, Thrawn?
What if he was trained by Thrawn?
Exactly.
What if he isn't even?
Oh my gosh!
What if he's even associated with Thrawn? What if he and Thrawn are enemies? And Thrawn is like, oh, got him now. Winner now.
Well, see, the thing is, though, is that Thrawn never really truly has enemies. He just has opponents.
Yeah.
And so he literally waits for the moment to go, I told you so. All right, blow their stuff up.
Yeah, literally.
He was like Moff, that he didn't care even if you were on his team and killed whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Moff did in the episodes. That when the stormtroopers are like, did you hear that he killed his own people or something like that?
It's like, oh, he just killed another guy for interrupting him. Yeah. Oh, that would be crazy. I would love to see a live action Thrawn. Who would y'all want to see as Thrawn live action?
I don't know. Because
I've seen Benedict Cumberbatch thrown around a lot.
Oh my God, Benedict. He would be such a good Thrawn. I love Benedict.
That would be ideal. I have also, every time I've seen people throw names around, I've always just circled back to that because his mannerisms, I mean, honestly, just literally put up the footage of him as Khan. Sold. Like,
yeah,
that was incredible. He did such a good job. I don't know anything about Star Trek, and I was like, oh, he's that guy. Like, it was perfect. He was so good at that. And that's a very similar mannerism to Thrawn. I almost said Tron.
Tron. Tron.
Yikes.
Nice.
Yeah, I would love him as that. I've seen, like, has Tom Cruise been another one that's been thrown around? I can't remember. There's another Tom. There's a Tom that's been thrown around, and I'm like,
Hiddleston,
no.
maybe?
No, not even him. But that could work. I do love him.
He would be funny as Blue.
Oh God, it would be great. I don't know. Who do you guys think? If we had to throw both of them out of the mix.
Don't ask me. I don't know much about Thrawn. That's you.
I mean, I think Benedict would be amazing with it, to be honest. I think he'd be awesome. Matt Smith could probably pull it off too.
Oh.
That would be another one. Yeah. I don't know that he really has the facial structure for it though, would be the thing. Unless they decided to kind of digitize him or whatever. I think Benedict Cumberbatch could probably pull off more of a Thrawn look than anything.
Yeah.
You know who I would think, but it wouldn't work out, but Sam Smith could be a Thrawn.
Sam Smith?
Sam
Smith?
The guy that voices Darth Maul. You see, I'm really bad with names.
Oh, Sam Witwer.
Oh my God.
Finding names.
Oh my God.
He would be the Thrawn, even like his face. Just like
he really would. I was thinking,
I wouldn't be able to get past Starkiller though if I saw him as Thrawn. Be like, Starkiller, you're looking a little blue.
Because he tweeted after the episode like, how come you have the dark saber? That's supposed to be mine, or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, I thought that was
so funny. Also, and this is not even like Star Wars relevant, the last thing that I saw him in was Mamma Mia, but Pierce Brosnan has the facial structure of Thrawn.
I think that was one that I remember seeing.
I was about to say they used his likeness as Thrawn on the Star Wars Celebration mural. Yeah.
What? Wow, I'm a genius. I literally
at the Golden Globes. I'm like, huh?
I know. I literally, that's what I was in my head. I was imagining, and I was like, the shape of his face is very strong.
It's very alien. Very just like.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that's a hint.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a hint. So we got Pierce Brosnan as Thrawn up there, and it's a little bit before its time.
Wow. Okay, well, where do you think we're gonna go? I mean, they kind of told us too that we're gonna go look for Yoda Planet, and where do you guys think what else is gonna happen?
I don't know. I don't really have any theories about it. I'm looking to kind of see what happened to the rest of the Mandos. I know there's gotta be more out there.
Yeah.
So not just at that one location. So I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how that plays out.
I wonder if we're going to find out what happened to Mandalore.
Yeah, that's what I'd really like to know.
Under Imperial rule.
Yeah.
Does it still exist? Did it get blown up?
Oh, that would suck. No, it's got to exist.
Anna, your face is so sad.
No, I'm trying. That can't be. It can't be.
Wait a minute.
I'm trying to think about what to think.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, you're breaking my heart. Oh my god.
Going down a path I can't follow.
Mandalorian is like that everybody wants to love, and now you're taking them away from me. I don't know. So many. I just want to see more history about the Mandalorians. I kind of want to. I don't know. Like, I've loved anything and everything that has been on the show, so I just want them to continue it.
Yeah.
I don't care what direction. I do want to see a lightsaber, with the Darth saber.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be incredible. I would love that.
It would be cool to see any other kind of live action Jedi or anything like that too, if they come across something like that, which I would imagine that if we're on this journey to return Baby Yoda home, he's probably not the only one that knows where home is,
Right.
So
could Ezra appear?
Please. And make it Taylor Gray.
I was wondering about that a minute ago. About Thrawn.
Yep.
I literally love that Taylor Gray looks like Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ezra looks like Taylor Gray. Yeah, I love that. I would lose my mind.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be awesome because that's the thing is that by this point, I mean, he'd be a little older because everything that happened to him happened. What was it? Just a few years before Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. Oh my God. What? Oh. if we saw Ezra, this is just me like going ham on that theory, but like if we saw Ezra and he, you know how like Luke kind of knighted himself / mastered himself in a way. What if like Ezra did the same thing, but like Kanan was there as his Force Ghost trainer?
You're just into the heartbreaks tonight, aren't you? I appreciate that.
Stop it.
Mandalore's no more. Kanan's knighting Ezra as a ghost. Appreciate it, Cheyenne. Thought we were friends.
I'm the emotional shtick of this show. Okay.
I'm excited to see where season 2 is going to go for sure. We have almost talked for 2 hours, so we probably want to go ahead and wrap it up. So we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us for an extra long episode. It's longer than Rise of Skywalker. We got a lot of feelings about the Mandalorians. So guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Cheyenne, Anna, so glad you got to hang out with us. And Kristen's back.
Yeah.
I love how that doesn't sound anything like you for people who are going to be listening at home. That was Kristen, by the way. Anyways.
Sorry.
But thank you guys for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Anna, can you tell them where they can find you in your lovely podcast?
Yes, you guys can find me at La Geeky Life on Facebook and Instagram, and the podcast is Roundtable Pod Racers.
Yay! Anywhere you get your podcasts. Cheyenne, tell us what you got.
You can find me on Instagram at CJerica, Twitter at CJerica95, and any of my blogs at CheyenneHoover.wordpress.com. I got a few coming soon, including a non-Star Wars Cats review. But find me there and hang out with me.
Yeah, and we got Clone Wars commentary coming out too. We're encroaching season 2.
It's coming in hot. I am fitting things now.
I think we found our stride there too, and it's really cool.
Sarah and I are loving diving into these episodes. It's really fun. And I'm finding people that want to be guests, so everybody keep an ear out for that, because a lot of cool people are really interested in joining.
Yay! It's very exciting. So guys, check out Clone Wars commentary. It's on our feed here at Kessel Run Weekly, so if you're already subscribed to us, you'll get that too. So, surprise! So guys, you can find us on social media as well, at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Kessel Run Weekly. Our website, KesselRunWeekly.com. We stream every single week on twitch.tv/Kessel Run Weekly. Everything is Kessel Run Weekly. You could literally Google Kessel Run Weekly, and you'll find all of our things simultaneously. But definitely check us out. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe. If you like this episode, leave us a review. We really appreciate it. Let us know what you want to see, because we're really chatty online. We like to talk to people. I can't speak for them, but I'm lonely, so I'm just kidding. Hi, wife. But you guys can talk to us online, and we would love to talk Star Wars with you and anything else. So, guys, thank you so much. I messed up. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Kessel Run Weekly. My name is Danny.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Cheyenne.
I'm Anna.
And may the Force be with you.
Always. Daddy's about to die.
Yeah.